Hey, y'all, can we talk about the fact that I'm 3 minutes early? Can we talk about that? What's shaking? What's shaking, everybody? Nobody, anyway. Let's see who gets on. I'm 3 minutes early today, so I'm proud. And ain't nobody else that early. Hey, I'm one person, me and you, 3 minutes early. Well, you're 2 minutes. I was on 3 minutes early. What's going on? 2 people. What's up? I got a thumbs up. I appreciate that. What's going on, 3 people? Y'all, you see me breathing all hard? 5 people. What's shaking? What's shaking in the neighborhood? What's going on? 6 people. Hey, Angel. Hey, Miss Congeniality. Greetings. Hey, Wanda. Hey, Sheena. Welcome, Sheena. How are you? How are you? Welcome. Hey, Sherry Russell. What's going on? She popped on. Hey, Maria. Good evening? What's happening? Hey, Sugar Honey. I was supposed to call you earlier to find out you was like when we were talking yesterday and you were like, oh, let me go. I forgot to call you. I'll talk to you later. You're welcome, Sheena. I'm glad you were able to join us tonight. Yo, how many people watched the movie, Miss Congeniality? What's going on, girl? How many people were able to watch the movie? A Promise to Astrid. Was anybody able to watch it on so far? It was on, I know it was on Amazon. Sherry, okay, you did watch it, Sherry? Oh, it was good. I watched it again today, right? So I can, brush up on it. You know what? I picked up so much more today than my hair is a mess, y'all. I don't even care. I need to do something with it. But I was able to pick up a lot more today. Watching it the second go round. It was really good. Yesterday, I started watching, it was another movie that I watched yesterday. We'll talk about that later. But it was a really good movie, a Christmas movie that, it was really good. And they still had it on Amazon. It was really good. About Highway 34 or something like that. Interstate 34, Highway 34 or something. Yeah, I forget the name of it, but it was really good. It was another one of them touching like movies. Yeah, so we got 7 people. Or am I stuck? Because we got more than 7 people on here. It's only been 3 minutes. So anyway, it is 7:30 now. So we can get started talking about it, y'all. Because we may not have a lot of people pop on tonight. So I'm gonna just go ahead and get started. I'm scared to refresh my screen because I don't want to click off. But hey, Yandel, what's up, friend? What's going on? So you know what? I'm gonna ask one question while we're waiting. I'm gonna give it another couple minutes before we start discussing the movie. I'll just give it a couple more minutes. But anyway, y'all want a question? Okay, here's a question, y'all. Hey, Kathy, welcome. What's going on, Kathy? Okay, good, Yandel. I got a question for us early birds. If you had a tattoo on your arm with a message to yourself, what would you write? Ciao. I would put handle it. Right. But it was a message to myself because that's the way life is. Handle it. I'd probably do something like that. You could do it. Handle it. You know what I mean? But yeah, anyway, stupid question. Hey, Fatima. Welcome, friend. Welcome. How you feeling? No, that's why. Like I said, some of the questions in there, you're like, where did they get that from? Never give up. That's a good one. What's up, Greystone? How are you, friend? Dry up. Be brave. Okay. Well, yeah. Some people might, yeah, yeah, I can see that, Sherry. I hear you right, Sheena. When you really think about it, I guess some people, to look down, especially like somewhere right here or here, where you look down, and you just, it's like words of encouragement. Yeah. I'm good, Fatima. How you feeling? How's everybody in the family? Okay. So we gave it a few minutes. Let's just start discussing this. Okay. So we only had Sherry was the only person that was able to look at the movie. So maybe it ain't even the discussion on the movie tonight. I'll just tell y'all about the movie then. Me and Sherry. Hey, Autumn Grace, how are you, friend? Aunt Louise is a hot mess. She's been in the nursing home. She made it through COVID, and she's still there in the nursing home. She don't want nobody in her room. She's spraying everything with Lysol. She's still wearing her big jewelry, you know, begging for beer. Yeah, she's around. Oh, that's okay. Sheena, welcome, welcome. No, no, no. Y'all, Sheena is new, y'all. So if you want to welcome her in, Sheena, we're just a group of ladies that pop on Saturday night and talk about any and everything. Lately, we've been talking about movies. Hey, Lisa Lemons, we've been talking about movies. We'll try to watch a movie during the week and then chit chat about it on Saturday nights. But also, we just talk about everything. But everybody, welcome Sheena to the group. She's new. We had a lot of new people in the last couple of weeks pop in. What's up, Lisa Lemons? Yeah, so just hanging in. We pop in on. I pop in sometimes during the week too, live. But for the most part, Saturdays at 7:30, I normally try to pop on, and then we all just get together and talk. We're all former club hangers and all that, but now we don't really do that no more. We stay in on Saturday nights so we can get on here and talk. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I might add. Yes, yes, sugar honey, you said that right. Okay, so I'm gonna start talking about this movie so we can get this out the way. The movie was very touching. It was one of them touching movies. It was almost like, a reminder of really, how we go through these hard times, but we stop and we don't ever notice the blessings that come about. You know what I mean? And hey Tammy, what's up, friend? And we don't notice the blessings. But in this movie, everybody who was blessed kind of took note, and then it made sense to the whole group in the end type of a movie. So Astrid was I like to call people earthly angels. Astrid was a person who lived on this earth, paid attention to everything, and lended a hand. She was blessed. We don't know how, but she was a wealthy woman. It never told us how in the movie how wealthy she or where, her money came from. But she was an older woman. And this was a true story. I don't know if a lot of you guys know that. This was a true story. And hey, Titan, welcome. We have Sheena in the house, y'all. Sheena is new with us tonight. So if anybody just popped on, Sheena Henderson, she's new. So if y'all want to welcome her in the group. But anyway, Astrid was an older woman. She was married to Dominic, her husband's name was. And she just paid attention to her surroundings on who needed what. And she lended her hand in things that made sense. She claimed, I'll say claimed, but I truly have a feeling that we could talk to God at any time. But she oh, for real? Get out of here. I know it was really good, right, Tammy? So she claimed to talk to God via telephone or look up at the sky and have a conversation. And hey, Cynthia Lewis, what's up, friend? So anyway, she came in contact with this guy Mike, who was wind up moving across. She came in contact with a lot of people, but the guy Mike. Now, this is what I noticed on the second go round. My second time watching it, Astrid is an archangel, right? I didn't realize this. Also, Archangel Michael, Saint Michael / Archangel Michael. depending on, how you look at that. Hey, Sandra. So, Sandra and who else just popped on? Cynthia and Tammy. We got a new person in the house. Her name is Sheena Henderson. If y'all want to introduce yourself to her, she's new with us tonight. But anyway, so she really connected with Michael. He kept saying, "My name is Mike," and she was like, "Michael," right? So that's what I noticed today, that's two archangels' names. And she kept asking him to have a conversation with God too, as if she was trying to guide him into, he's now an earth angel. So she was trying to guide him into his place. The connection she had with him. The movie is A Promise to Astrid. A Promise to Astrid. So, Astrid, and it's on Amazon Movies. I don't know if it's on any other of the streaming channels, but you could try it on all the streaming channels. But anyway, this is based off of a true story, and it was really good. But it just showed how, she was a person who was in touch with God and listened to what God said, and God equipped her with the tools she needed to do this work to help. Because, like I said, they don't say. She was from Norway, I think. She had an accent, and she was from Norway, but she moved to New York first. That's how she met her husband. And then her husband had already had a child, but we didn't find that out till the end. So, but wait, this was supposed to have been a, hey, Natalie, it's snowing. Oh my goodness. Where you at? Is it snowing? It's supposed to snow on the East Coast tomorrow, I know. Yes, the exact amount. Now, her neighbors, first of all, it was a miracle that they got that car for that price, right? But again, we got to remember this was made off of a true story, and in the pictures, it looks like this movie might have took place in the late 70s, early 80s. So the car, them getting that minivan, but the minivan was newer looking, right? So, but it was like 2,700, and then by the time you add the tax, it was $3,000 and $3,040.16. I don't know. I'm making up the number, but that's the exact amount, even including the coins that she had gave them as a loan to buy this car. And then she also gave them the $1,100 that he had mentioned to her, his wife. I mean, he mentioned to his wife. She said, "How much is it?" And he said, "How much is it to get the air conditioner fixed?" And he said, $1,100. We'll get it done. It's no big thing. It'll happen. The next day she comes over and gives them $1,100. Kid you not? Just a check, because she gave it to the wife. This is when she was getting ready, because she had on the phone with God. She said, "I'm ready." And so then she hung up, and the people came and took her husband and her to the senior living place, because her husband was getting ready to pass away. And oh wow, what town are you in? What state? I mean, Natalie. It's called A Promise to Astrid. A Promise to Astrid. So but then she set up a little get together in her house at that last day, the day that she passed away. Oh, and on top of that, the loan that she gave, she told, because he said, me and my wife talked about it, we have to pay you back. She kept saying, no, you're not going to pay me back. She said to him, "Okay, this is how I'll let y'all. This is the plan we're going to work on. You can pay me back, but you're going to pay me back $1 a week, and you don't start paying me back until 6 months from today." Right? So he looked at her like, "Okay." So, right, 6 months. "Oh, Natalie, where are you in Texas? There's snow outside, girl. Get out of here. You're on the east side. They say it's supposed to be some flurries on the East Texas. Don't be like over here, because I haven't even looked out the window, y'all. Yeah, it was supposed to be snow flurries, but that happens a lot. All you're going to see is a little bit blowing through the air, but it ain't no big thing. That happens on a cold day. That's not odd in January here. 20 miles from, okay, you're up there. Okay. Whew, girl, stay up there. Keep that mess. Yeah, not much, nothing major. I've seen that since I've been here, but that, it's just, that comes with the cold air. a little bit of moisture, but nothing that hits the ground. Did you? Oh, I know that was not, but you could ride down 121. You could ride. It's all over Plano. I see cattle. I see those what are they? Alpacas. I see them all the time. Horses, cows. Oh, you could ride up and down the highways and see them on the farms. It's covering the ground. Wow. Yeah, because you're up there close, up north. Yeah. Okay. Hey, Deborah. What's going on? Welcome, Deborah. So, anyway, the movie, it was really good. And if you guys did not get a chance and see, so like I said, I did get a little more out of it today. Yeah, I know, all up and down the East Coast. Yeah, I was just talking to Lane before I came on here, and she was saying that they're supposed to be getting some in Georgia. My daughter was talking about it. Child, I ain't, I'll stay right in this house, sugar honey. Let me tell you, I have not looked outside today. I have not opened the blind in this house, and I have not looked out of a door or a window today. Oh my goodness. Oh, who has her? Who has little Zoe? Sandra, she's with them. Yeah, it sure did. But guess what? You know, they got that hostage situation. I'm sure it's probably over. I pray it's over right now. But at 5 something today, it was still going on. Oh, wow. Yeah, we had a wind chill about 19 to 20 degrees today, supposedly. Hey, Diaz World. Melissa. Did I say that right? Melissa? Diaz World? Tell me I got that right. Oh, wow. Get out of here. Okay, so they got, but you know, they say kids nowadays, guess what y'all heard today? The younger kids that are getting COVID, a great amount of them are, when they're come out of it and they're back to normal, they have diabetes now. They said checking the, yes, Melissa, see, I got that. All right, y'all, Sheena Henderson is new. She's on here with us for y'all that just popped on. She's new to the crowd tonight. We got a small crowd, only 26 people. Yeah, they say that these young kids are, after COVID, it's all over. These kids are so many, it's a great deal of them now that is coming out with diabetes. Yes, little kids. And it's not about overweight or underweight or after COVID, they're finding these kids to have diabetes now. I don't know what this thing is, but I'm gonna tell you something. I don't want it. I ain't signing up for that. Yep. Yes, indeed. I just heard it on the news today. I've been really focused on the news because they have this a synagogue here in a suburb of Fort Worth, Colleyville. A synagogue. Somebody went into the service and they're holding everybody hostage. And it's been going on. It was going on from like 11 something to 5:30 today. I don't know if they're still out there. Yeah, I hope so. Or they don't know yet how long it's going to be, if it's permanent. Hey, Victoria. Hey, Victoria. How are you? Welcome, Victoria. So they don't know if the diabetes thing is going to be permanent or how long it's going to last or whatever. Yep. So little kids have diabetes because of the thing. Hey, Lane. I heard that some of that was earlier today, but last I looked was about 5:30. Yes, indeed. Yep. Yes. And that's the thing though, because and I honestly believe, Tammy, that she was set up that way. Financially, she was set up that way to be able, because she did listen. Because she did listen and because she did have the desire to help, I think that the money came to her for that reason. You know what I'm saying? Because, like I said, this was a true story. It wasn't just like somebody wrote this. This was based off of a true story. She really did exist. Oh, wow. Is it? Yeah, that's crazy. They were in there. I can't wait. They said the FBI was coming in. All different agencies, they've been in touch with the president with this thing over in Colleyville. It's crazy. I am going to check it out again on nightly news to see what happened. Oh, it's just the rabbi right now. Wow. They don't know if it's type 2 or type 1. I mean, that the news said, the news anchor said they were not clear, so they weren't going to say which one it was. But it I would honestly say it's probably type 2 if it just came about with them because of the virus. And it wasn't like, because type 2 and type 1 is total opposites. It's a totally opposite. So hey Hazel, welcome friend. Yeah, that movie, when I tell you, it was so good. You, even if you have just didn't get a chance to watch it yet, y'all should go and yeah, oh yeah, we were talking about that last week, Sandra. Yes, they say another symptom 2 weeks after you test negative for COVID, some adults, that they didn't say any kids. I don't know. It could be both. But last week they were saying that some type of psychosis sets in about 2 weeks after you test negative. If you've had it and then you test negative, it's gone. 2 weeks later, people are coming up with the onset of some type of psychosis. Like they're nuts. They done went nuts. Yep. A nurse. That's what we were talking about last week. Yep. She's been in an institution for months. Hey, David. Welcome. Welcome. Yes, indeed. She sure did. And I'm telling you, I believe, hey Shay, I believe that yes, it was so good. I do believe that because she did listen and communicate, regardless of whether people thought she was crazy or not, I believe that's why she was blessed with the money. Because she was blessed with a lot of money. And even though it didn't say the total amounts, she actually finished the final phase of this home being built where people with disabilities could move into, that they could have some supervision, but they can have the sense of being an independent person. She got in touch with that. I mean, had something to do with that, with the last phase of building that building. She also did something to do with human trafficking. She gave a lot of money towards that. She gave a lot of money to the church. She gave a lot of money to people. She helped people straighten out their lives. I mean, this woman was amazing. She was an amazing person. And that to me was, again, just, it hit me because, yeah, exactly. Yes, Sandra, keep calling that one, call it as it is. Oh, Hazel, it's called A Promise to Astrid. If you have Amazon Prime, then you have Amazon Prime Movie. You just have to download the app onto your TV or phone or whatever. And it's on there. It's free with your Amazon Prime membership. And when I tell you, it was just a good feel good movie. You watch, and like I said, what I did like about it was this movie is based on a real life story. This person was real in life, and her name was Astrid. She was from Norway, and she moved to the United States. And she met her husband. He was in the military, so she did a lot of traveling. And then they wound up, I believe, in California is where they were last living when they passed away. And yes, get your tissues ready because you will cry. It said when the first time I cried a lot through it. The second time when he walked out of her hospital room because he had a smile on his face when her bed was empty. And when he walked out and he saw the angel was the wing of the hospital that she was in and he touched it, I just couldn't help myself. I just started crying. I was like, when he touched, but that's when I said, oh my goodness, Archangel Michael. She kept calling him that. And remember, she had to move the angels and she had the angels all over. And then I thought, Astrid is an archangel. And then I thought, Archangel Michael / Saint Michael, whatever, your religion is, you're going to call him. He's the most powerful angel. And, I was like, uh-oh, wait a minute. Am I looking at this? So I start researching a little bit, their connection. Hey, Jen, welcome, friend. Yeah, so it was really good. The movie is called A Promise to Astrid. It's on Amazon Movies. Amazon Prime Movies, because I can't, the app is right on my TV. I put it on my TV, so I just go to it, and I've been finding some really good movies on there. A Promise to Astrid, yes. So, and like I said, I'll go over it again. Astrid was a woman who, what's up, Barbara? Welcome. Astrid was a woman of pretty good wealth. She had a little, but she did not live wealthy whatsoever. She lived in a regular neighborhood. She just gave wherever her heart told her to, or let's say her heart, her mind, and she spoke herself that she spoke it herself, and said to herself that she spoke to God. And she did what God told her to do. And even sometimes in a movie, you would see her look up to the sky and say, "Is that good, God?" Because at one point, she would aggravate her neighbors, right? Especially Mike slash Michael. She insisted on calling. He kept saying, "My name is Mike." She said, "Okay, Michael," right? And one day he had to be to work early in the morning. So 5 o'clock in the morning, he comes out. He's rushing to get to work. She tells him, "I need you to help me with this." And then she goes on telling him this long drawn out story about how she met her husband. But when he gets on, remember, we were just talking about this. Remember, I was just mentioning this. When somebody stops you or something gets in the way of you getting to a certain place, sometimes you need to stop and thank God because God was blocking you from something that could have happened. Well, it was a pile up on the highway, on the interstate. And when he got home, he told his wife, she said, "Yeah, it was several people killed in that." He said, "I'm thinking Astrid might have been stalling me to not get on that highway and, to be behind." So he wound up not going to work that day because that was the only way for him to get there. But she stopped it. So and then, in the end, I mean, like when everybody got together and was talking, they were basically saying, "And she did this for me. And now she did it," because every time she did a blessing for you, she made you promise not to tell anybody about it. So that's why it's called A Promise to Astrid, because everybody had to promise her one thing or another when she helped them. Like, don't ever say this money came from me. Or don't ever tell. She got her neighbors across the street and said, "Don't ever talk to me about this money in front of my husband." And every time they wanted to talk to her about the money, she would have her husband appear in the room. It was so funny. It was such a heart touching movie to me. And that's why I wanted to talk about it. But I say that to say she just the way I saw it is because she allowed herself to actually hear from God, believe she was hearing from God, and move on what she was hearing from God. God continuously blessed her with the tools to do the things that her heart desired, to help this company and to help with human trafficking and give all this money and get people to investigate it and get involved in this thing. Even when her neighbor across the street needed a swing set, she found a way that she could help the church and then help the lady by getting her a swing set because she held a daycare center in her house. So it was just the little things, even with the man in the very beginning, when her car is broken down and the guy was walking down the street that was getting ready to just give up on life. And she made him all for the rest of the time she was on this earth. He was one of her confidants. He was, somebody she could just go and tell him, because he said, I don't want you to drive anymore. Wherever you need to go, you come to me from now on, I'll drive you." And his whole life changed. He opened up a garage where he could, auto mechanic. He was an auto mechanic. He opened up a shop, and his whole life turned around, and he was back for his family, and a family man again with her help. Yes, exactly. Especially knowing it was a true story. Yeah. So I say that to say, because of that, look at all the people she touched, and people then start believing in, that connection that we all have. We all have that same connection to hear from God. We just have to believe it and know that you don't have to go through the pastor. And you'd be like this, "Hey, pastor, could you next week, I'm gonna come back, but could you ask God if such and such and such?" And then you got to go back to church the next week and say, "Well, what did God say?" No. I mean, Church is for fellowship. Church is to get like-minded people together and share and all of that. But you don't need to be in a church to communicate with God. So, and I think that's what I got from it. So, and like I said, I don't think God requires you to call him one name or the other. I don't. I think as long as you acknowledge the connection, you could call him what you want. I don't, like imagine if how can all of us be wrong? Can every other religion other than what we believe in, what I believe in, everybody else out there, could they all be wrong? I don't know. I don't know. I think they believe wholeheartedly just like I do. And I don't necessarily have a religion. I tell you, I'm a very spiritual person, and I do have my way of thinking. I grew up Christian, and not that my mother pushed it. My mother was Catholic, but she allowed us to branch out and see what we really wanted to do, what we believed in. And I came up, as a teenager, I realized that I believed in Christ, and Christianity was my thing. And she never knocked me for it. She still continued to be Catholic, and all of us went to, for the most part, all of us were Christian, other than my mother. Yep. Exactly. Exactly. You got that right, Sheena. Tell that again. But I think, and like I said, once you start listening to God and actually doing the action of what you feel, God, because so many times you can feel in your heart and God might say, help that person. And you're like, well, I can't even help myself today. And you keep on walking. But once you even go over to start a conversation, and okay, say, I'm going to use an example. Say, me, I'll come up with a story. Okay, say I'm on 41st Street in New York. And I'm walking down the street and I see this lady and a little boy. And in my heart, I look and she looks like maybe she could use a little help. But in my heart, I feel in me that I should go over and do something. I don't know what I'm supposed to do, but I feel. So then I hone in on what the feeling is. So I go over and how do you get the answer? Sometimes you ask. And if you think about in the movie, in the beginning with the guy, she said, sir, do you need help? And he was like, well, she said, no, that's not what I asked. I'm asking, do you need help? And then it goes on and you see their relationship flourish from there. So sometimes it's just for us to ask that. Sometimes it was a show, it was a TikTok where this lady riding down the street, this lady could barely make it up this other lady's step. She's riding down the street and she got this feeling that God told her to stop at this house and give this lady some money. I want to say it was $100 she gave the lady. I'm not sure how much it was. But she spins around. That's how strong this feeling was from her. She spins around. No, I haven't seen that one yet. I'm going to check it out, Tammy. Let me write it down. So is that on Amazon too, or is it on Netflix or something? But anyway, the lady spins around and she gets out her car and she hobbles because she had a wobble to her, like a limp or something. And she gets up the steps and she knocks at the door. And she says, you should have seen the comments. You should have seen the comments, but I'll tell you about that. So she knocks at these people's door and the lady comes to the door and she's looking. She says, hi. She says, listen, it's going to sound crazy. She said, God told me to stop and give you this. And she hands it to her. And I want to say it was $100. I'm not sure. And the lady says, why? No. Don't give me this. And so she says, no, I'm sure I rode past here and I had to stop here. I U-turned and came back. She said, do you talk to God? She said, sometimes you should just talk to God and you'll hear and he'll talk to you and tell you when to stop. This money is needed in this house some kind of way. So I'm just going to leave it. She said, oh, boy, your tree is beautiful. You have a beautiful house. So the people in the comments was like, oh, she might be trying to come back and rob you. This lady could barely hobble up them steps. How's she trying to rob somebody? And she turned around and went back down the steps to go. And the woman was like, can I give you a hug? Because, you don't know how much I needed this right now. And she said, oh, I know. And so she gave her a hug and the lady went on about her business. But I say that to say that's listening, right? So even if you don't have it at the time, and you start listening and you get to the point where you, just like I said, walk over to the lady and the little kid and say, hi, what's going on? How you feeling? Maybe you can give words of encouragement. Then you start noticing more come and fill up your storeroom, I'll call it storeroom, inside of you and in your bank account to be able to do the work. But you got to show God you're willing to do this work first. Because if God's been sending you messages for 50 years and you're like, well, I can't do nothing to help her. And every time you ignore, he ain't filling up your storeroom. It ain't no reason for him to fill up your storeroom. And I say that to say, hey, Selvin's Kitchen, how are you, friend? Okay, let me catch up with the comments. My mother, father. Yeah, see, my mother was Catholic and stayed Catholic to the end of her, till the end. Yes, indeed. A smile, a kind word, words of encouragement, something that you can give if you feel that feeling. Start showing God that, yes, I hear you. I don't, my hands are tied as far as finances, but I'm willing to go over here and do this, and then watch and see how you then attract everything you need to be able to do the work. He's not going to give you the money and the objects you need and the things you need and the resources you need when you're not even willing to do the work that he's asking you to do. Goes back to a couple of weeks ago when we were talking about the I don't even think I talked to y'all about that. I was talking to somebody else about it, the other part. But I said, the answer and the key to life is love, right? And so once we follow that path of love, we get the resources come to us for what we need. My thing is this. I can recall me saying one time, oh my goodness, with this human trafficking, I wish it was something I could do. There's no way, it's nothing I could do to help. Yeah, you're right. You tied your hands. Go sit down in a corner because you tied your hands. It's nothing you could do for it because you said you can. But the moment you act on it, and start researching. And like she had that woman, she was like, write another report. Tell me everything that's needed. Find out what's the most important thing that's needed right now. She made her do that work before the resources was released. You see? So I say that to say, guys, let's go this week. This week, at least start trying to listen internally. And it might be something that you really think you can't do, that God might be asking you to do, but do what you can. Go there, go to the situation, whether it be online or the person, or face that fact and do what you can do. Every time you have a feeling that you should do something, and then watch your resources start being more attractive. You have the I can't even talk. You will have access to the resources you need. The more you do what you're supposed to do. So. Oh, wow. Get up here, Tarasha. How you doing, friend? I didn't even see you pop on. Yeah, so I mean, the slightest smile, the kindest word, the just listening. Sometimes you don't even have to open your mouth. Sometimes you just go over and say, hi, ma'am, how are you? How's everything going today? And they will pour on you everything that's going on. And sometimes that's what they need. And sometimes that's what God's asking you to do. Just listen. You don't have to always give words. Sometimes it's this, that. And then there's a reminder in the end that, well, God is with you. I'm going to pray. Let me pray with you. Or something like that. Whatever I'm just the smallest thing. Praying is free. I'm just trying to use that example. Praying is free. Something is free. Words of encouragement is free. $5 will buy a slice of pizza and a soda. For somebody that just says they don't have anything to eat. Hey, Wendy, welcome. Let me catch up with y'all. So, Roku app. Okay, Tubi. I don't do Tubi because you got to pay. Oh no, Tubi is free. I'll do Tubi. I'll look it up. I'm gonna look it up, Tammy, and see. What's up, Wendy? Okay. Yes, indeed, Cynthia. You got that right, y'all. Yeah, we were just talking about that, Barbara. It's not far from me. It's right on the suburbs of Fort Worth, Colleyville. And yeah, it was still going on last I heard. Yep. Well, it's probably I'm gonna say about 50 minutes from me, around 50 minutes from me. If you go, well, it's even shorter if you take 121. I mean, Sam Rayburn. But I don't pay to drive in Texas. I don't take no toll roads. I ain't doing it. Hey, Meditra, how are you, friend? Oh, you're still watching it, Victoria? Is everything, did they do, and make any progress on Tubi? Okay, I'm gonna check and see. Oh, wait a minute. You watched Astrid? A Promise to Astrid on Tubi? I didn't know it was on there. Okay, so now I know that. Tubi and I know it's crazy. Tubi and Amazon. But I tell you, that is a good movie. And I think everybody should watch that movie. Okay, Sherry, now I know it's on both. Because I was going to tell my daughter to watch it too. And it was just such a good feeling movie. And that's why when I said to y'all last week, I said, y'all gotta watch this. It's just such three people, still holding three people. Okay. Well, that's good. They let a lot of people out then because it was more earlier today. I heard the FBI was involved, and then some type of a other law enforcement with the government, some other one. I forget which one it was. But yeah, that's crazy. That's something. I pray for those folk, in there, that it's a shame that because someone is different with what their beliefs, that other people will, you know, um that situation even had to come about, is what I'm saying. It's outrageous because they believe different. It's just, to me, yes, indeed, Tarasha, you got that right, yeah. Yes, the movie was, when I tell you it was excellent, it was such a good movie. Oh, yeah, I heard that. This guy is really has to be nuts. But you know what? I'm wondering how much this has to do with the arrest that just went on the other day here in North Texas about the people at the Capitol. How much I'm wondering how close that is involved, or if it is any connection. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And I think, like I always say, and a lot of people don't agree with me, and I understand that. But I always say, I think it's many roads to get to the creator, whatever you want to call him. You know, I got my name, but I don't think that he would be mad if you called him something else. I don't. I don't know. There's many names. And I think it's one, and we all serve him. I mean, we all see maybe down different roads. The fundamentals of caring. Let me write that one. And you said that's on where? It's on Netflix. Okay. Yeah, it was a very good movie. I'm telling you, it was. She sure was. You wanted to fix her wig. Okay, yes, but they say he wants somebody really. He's trying to get some woman or somebody released from somewhere. I don't know where. I didn't, I was trying to get ready, and then I was talking to you, Lane, so I really wasn't paying it no mind. But I did see that what he wanted was somebody released from somewhere. Mm-mm. Thank you, Deborah. I was going after the same one, child. Okay, yeah. But when I tell you that was a good movie, it was just a good, like I said, feel good movie. And honestly, the second time I watched it, that's when I start picking up on other things. The first time, it was just a really good, like I was excited to see, somebody just actually listening and paying attention and then following through. because a lot of the times you get a feeling to do something. And God talks to us through all senses. So you might hear something, you might feel something, you might see something that draws your attention, you might smell something that draws your attention. So for somebody to actually listen and then do it, and then you see that this woman ain't have no history of being able to have money. Nobody even knew she had money till the end when the stepdaughter said she was a very wealthy woman. And everybody was like, huh? I didn't know that. She did not live like she was a wealthy woman. It was like she had a storehouse of money set aside for answering God's blessings. That to me was amazing. Like, okay, let me catch up with y'all. Yeah, that white bag was everything. Wait, and did you see every time she went to the diner, they had the table reserved? Oh, you did? Okay, Lane. I'm gonna watch it later to see, because I know they said something about he wanted somebody released from somewhere. I said, fool, get out of here. Yep. Okay, Sheena, thank you so much for joining in. Don't forget, we're here every Saturday night. And just if you subscribe, hit the notification bell so that way you can get notified when I do pop on live. Pop on with us. Cruella, a Disney movie. I'm telling you, this movie is worth the watch. Yeah. Okay, it was so good having you, Sheena. Yes, make sure you pop on with us again. So, yeah, but I mean, I really enjoyed that, guys. If you did not see that movie, I suggest. So it's on Tubi, and Tubi is a free channel on the Roku box, and it's on Amazon Prime. If you have Amazon Prime, it's free on there. So yeah, it was so good. It just was, like I said, a good feel good movie. In the end, it thank you so much, Sugar Honey. But yeah, so anyway, y'all, what else is shaking? Other than, I'm not trying to talk about the synagogue, because that was just some news that just hit hard. You know what I mean? Like, why? Right? I just pray, like, let's keep them in prayer. I had posted it on my Facebook page and was like, I'm praying for them. I just pray that everybody came out of that safe. What's up, Marge? What's happening? We just finished talking about the movie. 5,000 miles to get here? So wait a minute. Whoa. This guy at the synagogue did not just say I wasn't talking about it, but I'm talking about it now. He's not American? No. Thank you, Sugar Honey. The Green Book. No, I haven't seen that, Cynthia. I'm going to write that down too. Hey, Tina, welcome, friend. Oh, that's okay, Marge. We're running our mouth over here. It did hit California. Wait, I heard that it was possible to hit California. So the tsunami did hit Hawaii and California? Wow. Well, Sandra's on here, so Sandra's safe. I'm going to have to look and see about the Green Book. 5,000 miles? So he's not American then. I thought he was from North Texas. He spoke 3 different languages. Wow. I did not know that. See? Oh, the California coast, but not Hawaii. Okay. Sandra, you're right there in Long Beach. So I hope it wasn't near you. Well, Long Beach area. I know you're right in that area. Marge, we're talking about oh, okay. Okay. So you're safe at least. 9 feet waves. Yo, I can't be dealing. What is going on? Everything's going on, Meditra. Everything. We got stuff going on in Texas. It's cold in Texas. Then you got the hostage situation at the synagogue over in Colleyville, Texas. And then you got snow coming to the East Coast, tsunami on the West Coast. Everything's going on, child. They closed all the beaches. Okay. Upper part. Okay. Okay. So you're safe. Good, Sandra. That's good. Okay. Wow. Surfer had to be rescued. Okay. Lane said the grocery stores is empty in Atlanta. She said she went out trying to get food and it was done. Ain't no way. But I mean, it's going to it'll melt within a couple days. So as long as you got a couple cans in your house, you ain't going to starve. It ain't like, and I guess being from the Northeast, Lane, we grew up like this. It's there and then it's not there, and then you just see piles of snow on the side of the road, mountains of snow where they pile it all up, and then it gradually. Let me tell you, there's been times in New Jersey that April snow piles, the mountains of snow was still melting in April. Tonga, I don't know I don't know what's going on in Tonga. I don't even know what that is. Mm-mm-mm. North Carolina, yeah, you know it. You know it. You know what? Like last year when we had, well, this year, no, last year now, because we're in 2022, February of 2021, when Texas had that week of really cold, for like 5, 6 days of really cold weather, and it snowed slash ice. Not really a lot of snow. It was really icy. But some snow on top of the ice. Nobody here was used to that. It hadn't happened in years, and but it was over in 5 days. On the sixth day, everything was gone and stuff was back to normal, except for so many people had messed up homes from the pipes bursting and freezing and all kinds of stuff like that because we lost power. But, it's not going to be forever. Think about living up in the Northeast, and, there's times where you have the last year I was there, 2013 to 14, we had snow every week. There was some type of snow every week. It was cold that winter. So wait, huh? Kroger? Get out of here. Oh, I didn't know that. Wow, I didn't know that. I hadn't heard anything. I did get groceries from Amazon yesterday. Let me tell you, I ordered the groceries to come yesterday because I was like, I am not going to be opening my door on Saturday to even get groceries off the front, at the front door. I'm not opening the door. It's too cold. Wow, Kroger is on strike, huh? Rain, okay. Yeah, and a few years ago, yeah. Mm-mm-mm. That's all right, y'all. We have the power to mentally, we have the power to focus on good and change it. And so many people, once a lot of negative starts to happen, everybody focuses on the negative and then we stay in the negative. But today, we on here, all 33 of us, have a chance to, 34, including me, have a chance to focus on things changing and getting better and not so much negative. You know what I mean? And watch your surroundings change for you. Yeah, no, I don't think so. They said that they planned that they asked the ERCOT or whatever it is. They said that they were pretty sure we would be fine. And there hasn't been any threat of power outages, thank God. Oh, it's in Hawaii. Okay, I didn't know what that was. Okay, so there was a volcano eruption. Child, every woo, this weather ain't no joke. Mm, 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 mm. Samoa. Okay. Wow. Yeah, let me tell you, I got groceries delivered from Amazon yesterday. And it's but here's the kicker though with Texas, y'all. Yesterday, it was 75 degrees. Okay. This morning, today, we didn't get out of the 30s. So see, that's what a lot of people don't understand. Like when we say, oh my God, it's so cold in Texas, and it's 35 degrees, 40 degrees, up north, they're like, shut up. Like it's like this every day. But you don't have your yesterday wasn't 75. You see, so imagine it dropping 40 some degrees overnight, right? And then you wake up and you're like freezing. That's the difference with Texas cold. Is that, and then in a couple days, we're going to be back in the 70s. So I know, and like I said, I've lived my whole life in the cold, in winter colds. Um, but since I've been here since 2014, I understand the difference in that drop. We had what Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and we were all in the 70s, y'all. Beautiful spring weather out here. And then we'll have a couple days of cold, and then we go back to really nice weather, and then we'll have a couple days of cold the following week or the week after, and then we go back to really nice weather. That's how it is here. So it does feel cold. In Louisiana, exactly. We have like the same weather. Yes, in Louisiana, Meditra. I didn't know you lived there. My goal is to travel to Louisiana very soon. I want to do some thrifting there. I want to look at the culture. I just, want to experience it. I really do. How far do you live from New Orleans, Meditra? Good night, Cynthia. Have a nice night. I hope you're feeling well, friend. Exactly. Yup. Yup. Yeah, Barbara, let's all focus on the positive and then, in that the change that we're looking for and watch it start changing. 20 degrees. Yeah, it's cold, y'all. That's how it is. It's supposed to go down like that tonight. Yeah. The wind chill. I think it's only going to go down to like 31 or 30 or something, but the wind chill, because we had such high winds today, it's supposed to make it feel like 19, 20 degrees. I actually got my heat on. I have it on 68. But I actually put it on just in case it got too cold. And then I'm going to close up the guest room and close the door, because this is my only real outside wall that it gets a little chilly in this room. But I'm going to close this room up because the bathroom is on the other side and I don't want them pipes to have a problem. Yes, shorts yesterday, right? Tammy. See, Tammy and Tammy's very close to me. Tammy's a neighbor. She lives in another suburb of Dallas. I live in one suburb. She lives on the other side in a suburb. I live north, and she's more northwest suburb in that area over there. So we're very close. Like we could get to each other in 20 minutes, me and Tammy, 15, 20 minutes. So that's Faith Family Fashion. She knows exactly what I'm talking. And a lot of y'all on here are from this area, but she's very close. 3.5 hours. Okay. When I head down that way, I might have to let you know. So maybe we can meet up and you can show me some good thrift stores. But yeah, it sure is. They say that Omicron is not as bad as the other COVID-19 and the other variants or whatever. But it's the after effects is throwing out some little nasty things, little side effects after it is showing up. It's the after it's all over. That's what I'm hearing about that. Hey, Yvonne, welcome, Miss New York. Wait a minute. Somebody said they're getting off? Oh no, Cynthia is getting off. Who said good night to Sonya? Oh, Victoria, that was Cynthia leaving. Cynthia has she's hangs with us as long as she can, but she has some issues where she's just got to go to sleep when she got to go to sleep. But she's a sweetheart. Cynthia's been through some stuff, but when I tell you she's a sweetheart, and I did not, when I found out all the stuff that she went through, I won't talk about it unless she's on. But we've talked about it before. She has some medical issues. But when I tell you she is one strong woman, she's one strong woman. Hey, Carolyn, welcome. Welcome, friend. That's okay. We've been on, you know, us running our mouths. Yeah, she's, you know, she's doing really good. She got some record breaking stuff that she's been through medically, and like on the forefront of some medical procedures. And next time y'all are on and she's on, she'll talk about it. There's actually a video on YouTube about her and the procedure that she had done. And yeah, she was like one of the first to get the procedure done, and she's doing really good with it. Some setbacks here or there, but you know, she's come through all of the setbacks. Hey, Melissa. Wait a minute, I don't see which Melissa popped on. Good night, Carolyn. You have a nice night. Oh, no, she's saying good evening like she just popped on with us. Yeah, she's a sweetheart. Cynthia is a sweetheart. And she's really on, she's on Facebook a lot. So if you guys don't connect with me on Facebook, Thrift Queen, I'm Thrift Queen on Facebook. Send me a friend request so you can get in. And then we have the group. For you guys who are new, we have a group that I am disgustingly bad at, but Martha handles her business on that group. Let me tell you, the one thing I will say, I owe Martha. If I hit the lottery, I'm paying Martha for handling that group. I promise you. Let me hit the lottery. I'm sending Martha a check. Martha has been handling that group with such sweetness about her. But it's a group called Feel Free to Be Creative. Now, for you guys who don't want to put up YouTube videos, or you don't want to really, you know, put your face out there on the internet, you can post anything. You could sell anything in that group. You can post if you decided to set your table and you just want to take a picture or a short video and put it up there. You could do whatever you want to do in that group. You could feel free to be creative on that. And everybody is friendly with everybody. Everybody talks to everybody on there. It's a wonderful group. And I'm getting ready to get back into the group, like wake up every day, check it, post all the time, because I'm not doing so much on YouTube anymore. I'm going to start focusing on that group. I just needed a break these first couple weeks of January, but I'm getting ready to throw myself into that group. But when I tell you Martha handles that group, I ain't had to worry about it. It's been about a year. I ain't really did much in that group, but Martha's been doing it. But it is still a good place for everybody to just, if you DIY something, you snap a picture, put it on there. You got people coming on. If you're selling something, say you got a couple things you want to sell out your closet, you put it up, you know. Yeah, Lane sells paparazzi. Lane is Sandra Turner, for anybody that doesn't know. If you see her name in here, let me do your thing, Lane. Hold up. Okay, Lane's going to be in blue now. Her name is Sandra Turner. She's my lifelong best friend. I told you we've been friends since we were 4 years old. And this is my friend that whenever I go to Atlanta, I go stay with her. But anyway, she sells paparazzi, y'all. And she posts in there all the time. So if you guys are interested in some quick jewelry, you're going away and you need some vacation pieces and all of that, she has a website that's up 24 hours a day. And not just a paparazzi website. She actually started a whole website by herself, because y'all, she got a whole jewelry store in her house. Okay. She got all the paparazzi jewelry up in there. And so you can just order right off of her website. And giftbysarahjewels.com. So, yeah. And she's always posting on Facebook. She's always in that feel free to be creative. So you could just click on her website and buy the jewelry. You know what I mean? And then, like I said, if you find something, like say you got a couple handbags and you're like, I got to get rid of these things. These are the ones I'm getting rid of. Put them up for sale. You don't know who might want them on the page. Somebody might want them. And when you do put something up for sale on the page, make sure you make it public, because everything that goes up on that page is going to be private for the group. It's a private group. Everybody in the world ain't allowed in there to be looking and seeing. And that's why you can feel free to do and post whatever you want, because it's private. But if you're selling something, just change the setting on there and say public so people can share it too. Yes, indeed. Yup. Since we were 4 years old. Yup. Best of friends. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. You're right. Yeah. Me too, Deborah. I'm just taking a little break. Three left. Okay. So it is three left as hostages. Wanting them to release some doctor. Okay. Which is being held in the federal prison out in Fort Worth. Oh, so that's why they came to Fort. Now let me ask this: who knows that this person is not from the United States? Did y'all tell me that this the hostage holder, the suspect there, is he from somewhere else out of the United States? Because 5,000 miles means you came in. United States ain't 5,000 miles from across to cross. That's 3,000. Let me see. Yes, Lane has lives too on Facebook, y'all. She holds lives. So once you find her and feel free to be creative, friend her on or follow her on her Facebook page because a couple times a week she does live videos where she'll hold the jewelry and you can instantly buy it like that. She'll ship it out to you. She takes Cash App and all different kinds of different payment lines of payment. And you can buy right from her and she'll ship it right out to you. 86-year sentence. Whew. You're right. Everybody, but and that's the difference. That's the thing that there's no right or wrong. Natalie said everybody interprets the Bible differently. Yeah, and now listen, guys, you might not be caught up with us because I think she's behind us. If you get this right now, what I'm saying, look at there's going to be a red line on the bottom of your screen. Whether you're on your cell phone or your computer or your tablet, make sure the red line, you just click on it or touch it and drag it all the way to the end, and you'll be caught up with us. And then don't forget to refresh your live chat. You just click it out and click back into the live chat, and you'll be caught up with us. Oh, yes. And guys, Lane has, if you spend over $50 on her website, she has that like almost like Afterpay, but it's called Shopify, I think, or something like that. You can pay your payment in four payment plans. I don't know if it's four or five with the one she has, but you can pay it like Afterpay if you buy from her website. Yes, indeed, Natalie. And so, let me go back to what Natalie was saying. Natalie was saying that many people interpret the Bible different, and but that's what I'm saying. There are many roads to the one place that we all need to be. And I just say creator because, like I said, he has many names, and you call him what you want. Doesn't make you wrong. It doesn't make your way of getting to him wrong. I could be traveling to him on a bike. You could be in a car. Somebody could be in a Mercedes. Somebody could be in a Toyota on the way. And I'm using this, as an example. Of course, regardless of whether you take the road that goes all the way around and comes back around into the side entrance of God, or you take the one straight, or you take the one that zigzags you around and you finally get to the entrance, it doesn't matter as long as you get there. You see what I'm saying? I don't care what you believe, as long as you believe in the the creator of some type of creator, and it's him. He's like, I don't care. Him, I say him to just say a word because it's a spirit, I believe. I don't think it's the God identifies as male, female. I think if when the movie we looked at last, and why can't I think of the name of it? Oh, what was the movie, y'all? What was the name of it? I know the movie, but remember, God came in the form of a what's her name? Not Olivia, the other one. Um, a black woman. He came in the form because the guy he knew that the guy needed something familiar and comfortable, and that woman was a woman from his neighborhood when he was a kid, and he was comfortable with her. So God came in that form. Then God came in the form as an Indian man. It didn't matter what his race was. He was just a man. He was a father figure because he said God knew that you were going to need a father for this. So he came in the form of a father. So I believe that there is no right or wrong. However you do it, you're doing it the right way. If it's for you. Unless you're going and, doing evil things to people, then you're on the wrong way. You're going the wrong road, down the wrong, because that ain't from God. God ain't telling you to do nothing evil. Evil things happen and God finds a solution to it. The bad things that happen, like my son was murdered. I could not for the life of me figure out how God could have been behind that and okayed it. Except for the fact that when I finally got that, guess what? That we all come in here on a date of entry and a date of exit. And my son's date of exit happened to be 22 days. I can't even talk. 29 days before his before his 22nd birthday. So he was 21, but he was going to be 22 in 29 days when he was killed. It wasn't me that was killed. It was my son. And he was on a mission and completed it. And that's the only way he could leave here. And do I like it? Absolutely not. Do I wish it didn't have to happen? Do I wish that I wasn't blessed with a child that had a lifespan of 20, not quite 21 years? 22 years. No, I really wish that wouldn't have happened to me, but it did. Now, do I have an option? These are, and God is so wonderful. He gives us these options. Do I give up and hate God for the rest of my life? Or do I accept the fact that this was God, this was what it was supposed to be, and I move on and I continue to love my son. I continue to, have a connection with him spiritually, but I have to move on and do Joan's job so Joan can one day live here. I had to come up with that, Exactly. Because guess what? It's been translated and manipulated. And mistakes have been made in the translation and manipulated and manipulated. Okay, because people manipulated the words to work for what they wanted at the time. The people governing have made it what they want. So not that the Bible is just a horrible thing, but you got to understand that some things in there that don't make sense probably has been manipulated. So there's two ways to read the Bible. Two ways. You can grab the book and you can read it. And for the most part, reading the Bible is going to fulfill your heart. That's the one thing I after reading the Bible and after studying, you realize even though some things, that even the harsh things in there still can warm your heart, it might not be exactly what it was in the beginning. Okay. But you still get that feeling from it in a sense of understanding. But there's the second way of learning God's word is through your communication with God and praying and taking some time to meditate. And meditate don't mean I call Buddha. No, meditate means just quiet your mind and connect with your heart and, listen for those certain feelings. Like I said, the sense, your five senses, well, your six senses, but your five human senses, and then that one sense that adds on to make the sixth sense, and then you will have some answers. God ain't gonna never leave you. The questions you have, get quiet and ask God those questions and get the answers. So there's two different ways. Some people feel like everything in the Bible is exactly what it is, but how many times has it been written? What is the chances if we played the game telephone and we constantly called each other all week and told each other this one story that I said right now? If I told Lisa this one story right now, and then by Saturday, Lane was supposed to come back with the story after it went through all of us. What's the chances of Lane coming back with the same exact words that I said? Ain't gonna happen. The same thing with the Bible being rewritten. Nobody's saying the Bible is fake. People are saying that it's been manipulated through the years, So, because I don't think God wanted anybody to be slaves. I don't think God was going to beat women who wore pants. I don't think none of that. I just don't. The shack. There you go, Deborah. But yeah, just like in the shack, that right there showed us completely about the Spirit of God, how God can come to you in many ways, forms, looks. If you need me to be this, I'm going to be there. If you need me to be a telephone pole to lean on, I'm going to be the telephone pole, but I'm going to be there for you. I'm not going to leave you. If you need me to be a gate to separate you from the evil neighbors, I will turn into a gate and be there as the gate. The miraculous gate that came overnight, I'll be there. So I think that that's what we got from that, and if we look at it that way, then you'll know that the Bible is a reference point, and we should all, if you believe, if the Bible is yours, or if the Quran is something that you believe in, look at those things, but also remember that God never held a pen in his hand and wrote those words down. You know what I'm saying? So some things might not feel right for you, and you don't have to believe, look at every exact thing. But I mean, if it's a reference point for you, and like I said, I grew up Christian, the Bible's a reference point for me. Bible verses make sense, and sometimes give me a good feeling. But do I believe that every word was actually what God said for it to be? I don't. It's been manipulated too much. I can't put my hand on that and say that's exactly what it is. That doesn't mean that you're wrong and I'm right, or I'm right and you're wrong. That just means this is the different avenue that we're on to get to the same place. You see, trust me, I have a Bible and I use it often, but you have to use discernment. Okay, I'll say that. Okay, let me catch up with y'all. Yeah, they have been all day today. Now Dallas was the first one that said they were going to do it, Natalie. But yeah, they've been putting it around all the They want to clear them all out and to put security around. I'm not sure. It was one that I posted on Facebook. Greystone. It was a live chat. I mean, a live news channel that I put on Facebook. Oh, excuse me. Earlier today, and it was live because it live streamed for the first couple hours, and from 11 something to two, a little after 2, the synagogue was live streaming. I don't know if they knew they were live streaming, but they were live streaming, so people could get on their site and actually watch what was going on. Yeah. Then they took it down, and so I guess I don't know for what reason, around 2 something it came down, but yeah, it was on the news. Okay, let me catch up. Let me catch you up. Yeah, definitely. Okay. Yeah, Natalie, I'm telling you, though, sometimes the verses can be so comforting and help you to understand. It can lead you on to. Do you think that God would, have the Bible formed? And even though people chose to manipulate some words, and when I say manipulate, I don't mean them in the wrong way. I mean, there were languages being translated. And sometimes, even if you're translating from Spanish to English, you could be saying, move the blue book to the right, and it would be translated as something different. The right is where the blue book is, and then somebody might translate that translation a little different. You know what I'm saying? So I think that was a mishap in it all. And but again, the spirit is still there with the Bible, so you can, when in need, find a verse that could work for you and get you to, the feeling that you need. So I'm not saying at all that it's not true or anything like that. I'm just saying that if you are really relying on something, you really should rely on, if you really have a question about something and it doesn't feel right with you, from a Bible verse or from somebody else telling you, like the pastor telling you, because remember, everybody's going to get their answers different. Everybody's not going to feel the need for the same answer that you do. You might be desperately seeking some type of answer spiritually, and the pastor or the deacon or one of your friends may get it because they don't have the connection to that answer the way you do. They might get it and like, oh, it's nothing. Oh yeah, don't worry about that. But it's so set in your spirit that you need that answer. That's why you need your own answer. You see? Thank you, friend. Homeland Security. Okay. It was live. I haven't been on there since about something to 6, but it was going live on my Facebook page. Yeah, it was still going live. I'm not sure now. I'm good. Oh, she's talking to Lane. Okay. Hey, Sonya, good. What's up, friend? I didn't see you pop on. Oh, Greystone Sugar Honey said it's on YouTube Live. It's a live stream on YouTube. WFAA on YouTube. Yeah, Natalie, that's what I was just talking about. That's exactly what I was just talking about your post when I was saying that about the Bible verses with having, when your child is in trouble, like I said, the whole thing with my son had passed away, they're away from us, put it that way. And I could not understand it. And when I tell you, I went over 3 years extremely mad at God. I would not even acknowledge God, much less have this conversation with you guys right now. I was mad. God did something dirty to me. He was mean. He was nasty. He didn't love me no more because he took my son. But it took me to, like I said, I went to a therapist, a spiritual therapist, and I went to a therapist. She happened to be a spiritual therapist, and she took me down a different road than I was going to go through the regular therapy, like you go in and sit and talk. Well, she did some, things with me where she got me to look inside myself. And I did. And that's when I seen it wasn't your life. God never took your life from you. God took his life from him. And not that he took it from him, his time was up. His time was up. You know what I mean? And he just wasn't meant to be with me for a lifetime. He was not meant to be with me for a life. Don't mean I don't love him no different 16 years later, almost 16 years later. It's been 15 years, but July, we're about 15 and a half years now. I still love him the same as I did the day he was born. But he just was not meant to be on this earth for that time. And so I had to accept that. And once I did, my heart opened again for my connection with God. But it was closed for a long time there. Somebody had put on Facebook, have you ever, turned against God or, been mad at God and didn't communicate? And a lot of people were like, no, I would never. Let me tell you something. There comes a time in your life at some time or another you question, God's existence or God's love for you. Mine happened to be an extended time. Even if you have a 5 minute, well, God, where are you? Ask that question. Are you with me? You're in a bad situation. Are you really here? But mine happened to go through almost 3.5 years. And through that, I thank God for that time that I did turn my back, because I came back even stronger, ready to acknowledge whatever it was I needed to acknowledge to move on. And I did. And I thank God that I did, because I feel totally different about my connection with God now. Totally different. Okay, let me see. Yeah, definitely. And that, again, it's no right or wrong, Greystone, with the way you believe in what's been translated or what. It's what you believe and what you feel is right is real right for you, but it doesn't make the other person wrong who might not feel that way. You see what I'm saying? Um, it doesn't make neither one of us right or wrong. It's just our life path that is going to put in our path what we need. And like I said, me going through this thing, um, that after my son died, and like I said, almost 3.5 years of completely disassociating myself with any possibility of any type of creator. I'm going to stop as far as to say atheist, because I was not an atheist. I knew that there was a God, and I acknowledged that. I just didn't think he liked me. So I didn't like him. I was like, oh, you don't like me? Okay, I don't like you either. It was that. And through that, brought back the strong belief I have now. Because I went through that, I believe I am much stronger in my beliefs and in my faith. So I thank God for that time. It was a learning lesson, and I'm not ashamed to share it, where prior to that, I probably would have never had this conversation with nobody, this type of conversation. But you know me now, I open my mouth and I let it come out. Whatever God puts on my heart is going to come out. And I feel like if it's meant to be, if it's meant to be said and God wants me to say it, I'm just going to let it out. I don't hide it no more. I'm so much stronger. And again, I don't think nobody, it's just because I say something today remember, this is me saying it. If you get something out of it, take it. If you don't and you don't agree, that is fine. I want you to stay on your own path. But for somebody who's out here that's looking or confused or whatever, and one word that I say might aid them in the ability to move on from what they're stuck at, I'm going to say it. I'm just going to say it. Yep. Through word, through song. Tammy, you like, okay, Tammy said, God speak to us through words. And so I say that through song, through music, through feeling, through sense. If you smell something, you ever, somebody that passed away and you're in a certain space or whatever, and you smell their cologne, or some type of food that they really liked on a holiday. You're not making candied yams, but all of a sudden the scent of cinnamon, and nutmeg just fills your nostrils because it was one of your mother's favorite foods or your uncle's favorite food. Things like that. You will have those reminders. You will see stuff that, like, oh my goodness. How many people see repetitive numbers and repetitive letters? It's all a sign to give you something. So there is a communication with spirit, I'll say, because God is not the only one working. God has helpers. I believe that there are angels out here. I believe the Holy Spirit. I believe Jesus is top notch right there. Again, like I said, I'm Christian, so you don't have to believe that, but I'm saying, that's my belief. But the thing is, Hazel, we're not questioning God. When you question a written word, you're not questioning God. You might be questioning that written word, but you're not questioning God, because remember, nobody is more special than the other. We all have an open connection, and you can ask God a question and get the answer, but it doesn't mean you're questioning God. If something's going on and you're going through a troubling time, and another thing I got from that movie, The Shack, is that, if you notice through the whole thing, his bitterness, I was there, so I understood it 100%, but his bitterness through it all helped him to understand. Now, I say that to say, because of his bitterness and him asking these questions in an aggressive way, God was still kind and answered those words and said, no, you don't understand. I don't send out to say, okay, put this one, kill that one. Take this one and make it a monster and kill that one. God said there's a lot of evil entities and people making decisions that will cause that to happen. I step in to guide through it and to help through that, because God does not. And again, here we go. We're on this. We have choices in life. Do you think God is going to say to Satan, I'm not calling that fool in. Block off. Put my alarm system on. That fool can't come up in here. I ain't calling him. Going back to business, Satan. But I say that to say, if God lets us all have choices, you can kill or be killed. You can kill or not kill. Let's say that. Kill or not kill. You can turn left or right. You can say yes or no. You can go high or low. You can do, these are the choices that we have. So if somebody makes a decision to kill somebody, God can't say, well, no, you can't. You don't have the right, because you're going to kill people. You don't have the right to choose. We all have the right. And that's what makes this world work. We make choices, right? So then with that, somebody got to be a victim of that killing. Okay. And this is how the world works. So God steps in and gives you a lesson or teaches you something in it. Like I said, my son was killed. He was the victim because it was his time. There could have been a lot of victims, but his time came. So he was used for that, and through that, God filled my heart with so much in learning after it, because like I said, I was bitter and nasty. And then 3.5 years later, through therapy, I realized I never lost my connection with God. God never turned his back on me with the horrible things I said about God. God never turned his back on me. He just sat there and was like, Lord, this fool, we got to get her together. This fool here, she really holding on to this one long, but we got to work on her heart, because we got to get her straight so we can use her. So I say all of that to say, through my son's death, I learned a lot about spiritual connection. Through that, being mean, being evil, and then realizing I had a connection, and then using that connection, and then using that word, and after being able to share with so many people here on YouTube, I just feel like that was a reason for me opening up to be able to open up this section here on Saturday nights. And when somebody has an issue, we could talk through it with them. We can remind each other about God's love and everything else. And regardless of what your race is or what your spiritual, this, not spiritual, but your, I can't even think of the word now, y'all. Religion, what your religion, choice of religion is. We could all still come together on one page and talk to each other and help each other and guide each other through things. Okay. Wait a minute. Let me see. My mother in Philadelphia lost. Exactly. And the thing is, it's hard with loss. You know, like I said, with losing my son, I couldn't imagine losing 3. Child, please. I don't know how I would have came back. But, you know, then again, you could say that all you want. I couldn't imagine losing 1. I couldn't imagine losing my son. But then when it happened, I had to deal with it and understand what I needed to come out on the other side with, you know. Okay, let me see. Yeah, exactly. Greystone. It is hard because you don't know, you know, you really feel like a victim and you feel like that you're not being, you know, well, God said he was going to protect me. I wake up every morning and I put on the armor of God. I, you know, I read these verses and I stand in the mirror and I claim that God is protecting me. And now look at this. Look what happened to me. You know what I mean? So then you lose faith in that ability for God to, but God, that's when God's around you more, is when you're going through the hard time. Because he didn't put the hard time on you, but he supports you through it in one way or the other. And then in the end, we either stay or go, you know, when it comes down to it. And clearly you stayed. Yes, indeed. You got that right, Susan. I'm telling you, grief has stages. And most people go through that. The stage that I was in, the stage of confusion and not feeling like you were connected to God whatsoever. I don't think it's so much as you don't believe that there is a God. You just don't believe that that God is for you. You believe you're in the other line. You know, you kind of believe that. You don't believe that. And then you have to come back. I think it's something about the whole believing and then losing that belief and then coming back with a wider vision, you know, of what God is. And I think that's what it is. I think it's a difference. And like I said, from my experience, to me, I feel totally different today than I did before my son passed away. And I'm more open to listening and doing what I feel God is asking me to do, you know, and it just, you know, really did something for me. Okay. Okay, Yvonne. Yep. And a lot of the times, I'm telling you, reading the Bible will make you see things in yourself and help you to make decisions on things about yourself. It really will. If you sit down and read the Bible, you will make some decisions in your life that you didn't even think about leaving. So I'm telling you, the Bible it's a good tool. But just open your mind to other ways of communicating with God, that's not the only way. Um, so I mean, you know, that's the way I see it. That's what happened with me, opening my mind to other ways. It doesn't mean that I don't read the Bible. It doesn't mean that I don't um that I lost all Christian rules and regulations, I'll say. Right? It doesn't mean I still think and feel like a Christian because that's what I am. That's what I always have been, but I just learned other things that add on to that over the years and through hard times. Yes, it is. I know it's that final period, Susan. It's that putting a period at the end of something that is really hard to especially when it comes to your child. Like you gave birth to this child and you have loved and cared for this child and you've done everything you needed to do. And then the child is gone, you know, regardless of the age, whether the child is 6 days old or 6 years old or 22 years old or 40 years old, it's still your child. And we see our children as a possession. Human beings do. And we can't help it. It's just what it is. They're ours and they're our responsibility. Let us not take care of them. We're going to jail. So if they die, why can't we hurt because they died? You know, mess around and not take care of a child and watch yourself be in jail, straight to jail. So when they die, of course, you feel that feeling. Hmm. Yes, and you know what? For a long time, my son's favorite cologne when he passed away. Now you know it's been a long time now. Was Curve Crush for men. That perfume, he loved that smell, and he would put it on when he got himself all cute and was going somewhere. He would put on he wore it every day, even to work. But when he got all fresh, and and it's funny looking back on his pictures now. I'll look sometimes and I'll get ready to post a picture or something, and then I'll hear him in my mind say, "Mom, don't put that out. Those clothes are old fashioned." He does, and that's when I noticed recently. Oh my goodness, all of his pictures are old fashioned because it's been 15 years. So the clothes that they wore 15 years ago, the kids aren't wearing now. So it's funny, 15 years later, I still, you know, wow, I just don't know what he would be right now. No children. Would he be? I'm sure at 37, he would be married with children or whatever. But yeah, something, child. Let me catch up with y'all. Yeah, y'all talking about that cold. I don't want to hear nothing about that cold, child, because it's cold outside here. It is cold. All right, let me catch up. I'm catching up. You asked me a question. I'm getting to you right now. Yes, indeed, Hazel. I'm telling you, it's the truth. Once you realize that even through your worst times, God was actually really with you, and that's how you got through it, right? Because you think that God is not with you and you're going through this hard time. Let me tell you, if God wasn't with you, you wouldn't have got through it. Once you start realizing that over a couple times and you start opening up your different avenues of connection with God so you can actually sense his presence. And when, like I said, when I say he, it's because of that's the way I learned, growing up, and I grew up Christian. And but you, and then you sense his presence even in the worst. So when the worst times come around, you could actually open up all your senses to God and you could sense his presence. You start feeling better about those times. But when you don't, and you only praise God at the good times, and you really think God's only with you when the blessings come about, that's not a full connection. You got to feel it in the other ways before you can really experience all the gifts that God gave you. You need to feel God in the best of times and just in the worst. If once you start sensing that feeling, that's when you know you've opened up all of your all of your senses to God. Most of the times, most people only see. They're only in seeing. They only see what they see, because if it's good, it's God. If it's bad, it's not. And that's it. And then that's the way I was, though. And that's how when my son died, all I could do was see that God wasn't there for me. But had I opened up all my senses and listened to the word God was speaking and soothing me and explaining to me why this had to happen, I couldn't hear it because my ears wasn't open. I couldn't smell because my nose wasn't open. I couldn't feel because my feelings was gone. I didn't have feelings towards. I didn't realize I could open myself up to God that way, and God would accept me. I didn't. Once I did, at the worst times in life, y'all, when you open up all of your senses to God, you will get the answer immediately, and you will feel so comfortable. And not saying that everything is going to work out in the way your mind plans it, but it's in God's plan. But just know that God is with you and that you're going to come out okay. It will, in the end, come out the way God's planned it to be. You know? Natalie, you're talking to me, Natalie? Maybe you're talking. Wait a minute. Yes, and that's another thing. God will place people in your life. And Hazel just put this. God will put people in your life. God will put things in your life. God will put places in your life. Like me, wound up in Texas. Don't even still can't answer why. But I say that to say God will put you in a place that he needs you to be in at a certain time that he knows you need to be there. And whether it be for you or for somebody else, once you accept that and you do it, you'll start realizing that's when the resources come in. You got to start answering these feelings that you get. You got to, or that you think. You know what I mean? Like I said, using the woman and the small child on the side of the street as an example, you don't know why you're attracted to them. You don't know. You just feel like maybe I should go say something. You don't have no money to help her if she's homeless. You might not have two nickels to rub together. That was one my mom used to say. That I ain't got two nickels to rub together. But you might not have that. But when I say you start opening now, you start opening that ability for God to pour those resources in you, because God says, okay, well, now she's ready to listen to me. Now she knows that I'm saying go to these people. Now she's listening to this. Now I'll give her the resources she needs to help that person. And I say that to say that that's how the woman in the movie, Astrid, because of her ability and willingness to do what it was that God put on her heart every time, like clockwork, God gave her a storehouse of resources to be able to help so many people across so many walks of life, that she, whenever a problem came about, she had in her hands or in her possession the resources to do what God asked her to do. But it didn't start out like that. You see what I'm saying? It started out because of her ability to obey the feelings that she had from all of her senses. So good night, Sandra. Yes, indeed, yeah. Wait a minute, let me see. I'm trying to catch up with y'all. Yes. Yep. Yeah, Carolyn, I agree, friend. That movie was something. It really touched me in so many ways. That's why I wanted to talk to y'all. I'm glad that you got something out of it, Hazel. I do. Like I said, when I come on here, and I try not to do it, but sometimes I guess leading out from this movie, I try not to bring this every week because everybody's not interested in hearing. But sometimes it's somebody that pops on that might need to hear something. And like I said, I just got to obey it. When the feeling is strong for me to talk about this, I'm going to talk about it. And I thank God that somebody, um, Natalie, what the movie? I think Natalie is behind us. The movie is called A Promise to Astrid, and it's on Tubi TV and Amazon Movies. But yeah, I pray that somebody gets something out of it. A hot cowboy girl. I ain't thinking about no boy. I ain't thinking about none of that. Like, that's not even on my mind right now. My mind is more so focused on me right now. But all of my senses is open and connected, right? So if God feels as though it's time for that for me, then it'll happen. But I don't want it just picking somebody just desperately going out here grasping and like, okay, well, he got a pulse. So that's a start. We can work with that. No, I'm just like, if God sends somebody my way, my heart is open to it, but I ain't looking. I'm not. I'm honestly where I'm at right now. If I was to die without ever having a connection again or any kind of a marriage or anything, I would be fine with that, because right now I feel so comfortable in my life the way I am that I don't feel the need for it. You know what I mean? But if it's meant for me, it'll find me. That's where I'm at. I'm keeping myself open to it, but I'm not, feeling like I need to have it. It's not, I don't feel like I'm missing something. Okay, let me see. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, Sign. That's exactly what the movie was about. I do. I believe so too, Carolyn. Like I said, when I feel the feeling to do it, that's when I do it. I try not to do it as much, but like I said, that would be me disobeying. So somebody needed something tonight, and we just, because like I said, it bounced off the movie. I try to keep Saturday nights a little more lighthearted and come on during the week for stuff like this. But coming off the movie, I feel like, let's just say what's on our heart. Oh, I know. Yeah, no, I ain't trying to think about nobody. I'm telling you. But like I said, whatever happens in life happens. But that I'm so comfortable. I have never been this comfortable in my life with myself and the way I'm living right now. I have never been that comfortable. I honestly make decisions based on my life and what I want to do. It's a difference for me, you know? And is this going to be for the rest of my life? I don't know. I don't know what's coming down the road. But I'm not out there like, oh Lord, I need to get on these dating sites. I need to go out here every day and walk down the street and pray somebody says something to me, or I need to, no, it's not that. I'm good. I enjoy my life so much right now. My life is so different than it's ever been. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, Hazel. I do. Yeah, it's something. I was with my mom when she passed. Well, during the of her time of her passing, I believe her spirit. By the time I got there, her spirit was already gone. But they were physically keeping her alive through compressions. This one guy who was there, he must have kept giving her compressions for 45 minutes. They was trying to keep her at least something going until my dad got back to the hospital. And it was something to be there for that transition. It was really something. Yep. But you know what? And the funny thing is, you won't get what's meant for you until you get comfortable with you. I really feel that, because why add on to the confusion? If you're really asking God for a blessing of somebody coming in your life, or if that's even in your plan, why would God send confusion on confusion? You got to get right with you and be comfortable with you before, because you're going to continue to find a ball of confusion every time you go out and finding somebody new to bring into your life. Until you get comfortable with life completely in general, I don't think that you're really going to find the one, because we got to be able to fix us first. Finding somebody you think is going to fix you. Well, if I find somebody else, they'll fill this void for me. No, you got to fill all them voids by yourself. And then once you do that, I think that anything else comes in will be an addition, and it will just be a blessing. That's the way I look at it. So let me see. Not really, though, Marge. I think the whole isolating of myself, me coming here by myself and not knowing anybody, I really think that that aided me in being comfortable with myself. I would never, when I was in Jersey, you couldn't get me to go sit down and have lunch by myself. I didn't do anything by myself. So moving here was a shock to everybody. Lane will tell you, I was never the type that would just do this. So I think all of this was about getting me coming out of the whole thing of me, the new me that opened my life spiritually and my connection with God. I think that if God was going to use me, he needed me to be 100% independent. And he needed to move me in a place where I was going to be able to do that without any kind of security blanket or any kind of when they walk the tightrope, they have the thing to fall down on or whatever. Yeah, none of that. I ain't had none of that. If I was going to fall, I was going to hit the concrete. Okay. So I had to learn to do what I need to do for me. So I don't think that the importance of having a person. A lot of people feel the need to have people. I can live, y'all. I told y'all I had stayed in this house from the 26th till the other day because I had to go to the post office. I don't come in contact with human people, especially during COVID. I could do COVID the rest of this time all by myself, and my groceries delivered to the door, and I could be fine like this. But I wouldn't have been able to do this prior to me moving here, because there's people here, that I know I could easily connect. But I think it was more important for me to I think it was more important for me to get to really know me and get to be able to use my abilities for myself, and then get so comfortable with them that I could use them for other people. Wait. You know what? It just took the strong feeling. I kept praying, Lord, use me, you be careful. Listen to me, y'all. all 40 of y'all on here, if you are ever going to be praying for God to use you, be ready. Be ready for what's going to happen. Because like I said, I opened all of my senses to God. I was like, Lord, this is a mission. I know it's something on the other end of this, my life right now that you could use me for. I'm willing to, dedicate my life to you. Use me, use me. All of a sudden, y'all, God was like this, move to Texas. I was like, okay, he ain't talking to me. He's talking to somebody else. He ain't talking to me. He ain't saying to move to Texas. I ain't got no connection to Texas. I'm not doing that. So next day I pray again, Lord, please, please use me, Lord. Use me, Lord. Move to Texas. I was like, so then I go to the doctors, and I was with my ex, and we go to the doctors, and the doctor was like, you need thermal heat because, y'all know I'm disabled and have spinal cord injury. And that winter was so bad, right, that I could barely move through the whole winter. My back was just, and the doctor was like, you need to be in a different climate. You need some thermal heat. So I picked the South on a map. I point, and it was, North Texas area. I found a locator. And at the time, my ex was going to come with me. So I wasn't scared because he was going to come with me. Although he was a narcissist and the worst thing in the world for me. I had my security again in somebody else. You see why I needed to come here by myself, Marge, when we were just saying that? So he was coming. He was treating me like trash, but I was like, I don't care. All I need him to do is be there for at least 6 months. I'll get used to it. And then he can go on about his business. He was talking to me any kind of way. It was just horrible. The relationship had really went underground. But I was so scared to make this move. And I really felt strong that God was pushing me here. And I really felt strong that I needed to make this move. But I couldn't do it by myself. I didn't have the courage. Well, guess what God did? He slammed the book down. The weekend before I was supposed to come, he was like, he made this fool turn into the devil on me. It was so bad. I cried. He was like, I ain't going. And I was like, oh my God, I'm scared to death. I can't go by myself. There's no way I could go by myself. God was like, see, now, what you going to do? You asked me to use you. I still want you to go there. So it took me a whole weekend to cry and ask God why he was turning his back on me again, why he didn't get this fool together to come with me, because that's the only way I could do it. And God was like, no, I don't want him with you. I want you to do this. You asked me to use you. I'm using you. I ain't using that fool. He ain't ready for me. So that next morning, that Monday, I went the whole weekend. We were supposed to leave that weekend, packed and everything. So it took me 2 more months to get here because I planned it right. I found a locator. The locator found this place for me. I did everything I was supposed to do. I got rid of all the stuff in my house. I gave myself no reason to come back. I had my house ready for sale in those 2 months. And I did it by myself. I got in my car on a Sunday morning and I drove and got here. It took me like 25, 26 hours to drive from New Jersey to Texas. But meanwhile, that the week before, I had shipped 27 boxes of stuff. I had my car full of stuff. I sold just about everything in my house. And I came here and I realized I didn't really need that fool. I was taking that abuse because of my fear of being alone and feeling like I needed somebody. You see? So I came here and I have felt so much better since. Now there's nothing I could do. I have been back on the road many times, driving back to Jersey and back here to Texas. I'll get on a plane and fly anywhere where I would have never got on a plane and flew. I've never been on a plane until I moved to Texas. I got the nerve to be so confident in myself that I didn't need anybody. When y'all say, oh, you travel by yourself all the time. Yes, I do. That's all I ever need is me. I don't need somebody else to travel with. I don't need somebody else to live with. I realized at that time I could do all of this with the connection I have to God, because God is not going to leave me, regardless of what's the difference in you coming into a bad situation and you're by yourself, or you're by yourself with God, or you got somebody, your friend with you. If it's going to happen to you, it's going to happen. I'd rather have that connection, knowing that, I am on my own. I got to do this for myself, So that's how this move came about with me. The only way I was doing it was with somebody until it was forced on me to realize I don't need nobody. I don't. And you don't. I know as comfortable as it feels to have your friend or a spouse or your boyfriend or whatever, regardless of the situation, with you at a time when you're making a critical move in your life. You don't need that. You don't. You don't need a security. You don't need any kind of security. You just need to know that it was something that was put on your heart and it was from God. And do it. And that's it. And watch and see. Now here we are. I'll be 8 years come June 1st that I've been in Texas. And I ain't never had to turn back. You know? So okay, wait. Let me catch back up. Okay. Yep, I'm telling you. So, Hazel, you have it in you. If you decide that's what you want to do, you just got to focus on the fact. But here's the thing, know that you also need to know that closing the chapter to where you're at is what you know it's your right path. You're at a crossroads, right, in your life. Say you're at a crossroads and you're like, I really feel like moving to Texas. Say Texas. Pray about it and know that if it's God's will, that be done, and that's the right move for you, because at a crossroads, you know, this is a yes or no. Do I go, God? Yes or no? No might take you down the wrong road. Yes might take you down the wrong road, or it might take you down the right road, but you got to know that that's where you're at. So pray about it, and once you pray about it and you feel in your heart that it's good, ain't nothing going to stop you from doing it. No fear or anything else. You will do it regardless of who's with you. You will secretly. It took me 3 weeks before I was actually physically going to move here. I told my daughter, my granddaughter, my sister, my brother. I told all of them that I was moving 3 weeks before, but I had been planning it for months. But you don't want everybody in your decision making, because you know what all of them said when I told them? You're crazy. You don't do that by yourself. Something could happen to you. Had they been saying that to me in the beginning, I would have fed into it. And I would have been like, you're right. I ain't doing that. Not by myself. Ain't no way. But because I didn't, because I didn't tell anybody, I focused on my connection with God, and I felt so strongly about it that I didn't talk to anybody. I didn't tell Lane till, what was it? When I was driving here, Lane saw it on Facebook. She was like, what? What are you doing? Why would you do that? And I wish I had to talk to her, because I might have made a decision to go to Georgia as opposed to, but I didn't. I just felt like to move to Texas was what I was supposed to do. I'm running my mouth and not watching the comments. Hold up, y'all. Let me catch up with y'all. Yeah. Exactly. You got to, what's meant to be. I'm not going searching for love, but what's meant to be is going to happen. I promise you that. It's going to. If somebody comes in my life and they're able to fit in this puzzle that I've made right now, the puzzle that's going on with me, because I'm not going to change me. Not at my age. I'm not a 20-year-old. I'm not a 25-year-old looking to start a life with somebody. I already have a life. And if you fit into my puzzle right and it works and I fit into your puzzle, then we're meant to be. But I'm not going to adjust my way of living to fit somebody else's way of living. At this point, I'm just not. Like I said, I fell in love with my life the way it is. Okay, let me catch up. Oh, get out of here, Carolyn. That's why I've been staying in the house, y'all. I ain't seeing nobody until after this blows over a little more, or they get a little more grip on the what's that? Needle, whatever that thing is. I'm not fiddling right now because it's growing. Texas is like a wildfire with it right now. So I stay in a lot. Yep. Yes, indeed, child. Let me tell you about living through having so many testimonies to live through that you've lived through is so much experience that you build up. Yes, indeed. You got that right. And guess what? The funny thing is, last year, the fool was living like 3 blocks down from me here in Texas. Had some other chick move here. So, and 3 blocks away from me. Finally did get here, but not with me. And so I don't know. I mean, that was about a year ago. I found out that, and I have not kept in touch. Don't keep no dibs. Couldn't care less if they still live there. They live there. I don't see them. God has made a way that I don't run into him. I don't even know who the person is that he's here with, but I have not ran into him in over a year. And we're 3 blocks away from each other. Let me tell you, that's nothing but God. That fool was not meant to be in my life. And once I realized that and went on about my business, I've been good ever since, That's not meant for me. So yeah, that he finally made it here, but he's like as of I think maybe a year and a half ago, he moved right a couple blocks away. I know, Lane. I know. But for some reason, this feeling to come here, and I'm working my way there. Hey, Auntie Sandy, what's up, friend? Texas is violent? No. See, they show a lot of that on the news. I'm gonna tell you, Texas is a beautiful place. Um, it's a beautiful place to live. Um, Texas has two sides. It has the side, I think a lot of people, this is the misconception of Texas. Texas want the people of residents of Texas wants Texas to stay the same as it was. And people who lived here all their lives, and just Texas has this certain feel and environment and connection with the people here. And the new people coming in, I think people tend to get more of a negative vibe from that. And that's what I noticed. People who don't want Texas change. People in Texas don't like people from California moving to Texas. They will treat you bad. But I don't think it's a bad place. I really don't think. And being here all this time, I really don't. I've had such a good experience living here. I've had some negative, some people say some, not personally directed at me, but me seeing that. But I like it here. I'm gonna tell you something. If I was starting all over, if I was young and I had a place to raise my children, I would raise my children in North Texas. I promise you. If I was young, if you guys are young and you have young kids, like Kathy, I don't think Kathy's still on with us, but Kathy and her husband just moved their girls here, Lisa's grandkids. And this is a great place to take some of those. They have good schools. They have good sports and different activities where these children go to college here, y'all. They go to college. Always, yeah, always. And that, like, you're going to get a small area to, like, South Dallas. A lot of mess goes on there. Fort Worth, a lot of it goes on. Exactly, Tammy. There you go. That's once you focus on that, and exactly what you said is opening all your senses and looking for what God wants for you as opposed to what you want for God. You know what I'm saying? Want from God. And then you will get your answers easier because God will speak to you what he wants from you. But every time you asking and not focusing on what he wants for you, so that's where the ball of confusion comes in. And then you're only looking with your eyes. This is what I want. This is what I want. This is what I want. But when you open up all your senses and say, what do you want from me? You know, you will be surprised to realize that what God wants for you is in tune with what you really want, but you didn't even know you wanted it because you couldn't see it or feel it or hear it or taste it. You couldn't do none of that because you couldn't focus on what it was. Once God says, this is what I want for you, you would be surprised how happy it makes you. What God, the suggestion God gave for you. Because half of us run around here with what we don't, we want what we think we want. And once you get it, you're not satisfied because it's not what was meant for you. You see? Hey, Will, what's up, friend? Oh, you got snow over there? I started watching your video, but I had to hop on here. I'm going to go back and check it out. Yeah, again, like things like that, Lane, we talked about that. Those things are here. But it's me personally, I have had more uncomfortable situations with people of the Mexican descent as opposed to black people or white people or Indian people. Indian people look at me with like I got two heads. I haven't had a really good connection with Indian people, but I haven't really tried to connect. It's a lot of Indian people here. But I've had more negative situations with Mexican people here than I have with anybody else. White people, let me knock on wood. I have not had any problems with white people in Texas. I haven't had any problems with black people in Texas. I've had more problems, personally, me, with Mexicans and Indians. It's just not a comfortable connection. So, and I don't mean that in general, everyone in the whole group, but I'm saying those few problems I had was with that. But I don't have many problems here. Yeah, exactly, Erica. I mean, Erica, Eunice. I seen the E and called you Erica. Welcome, Eunice. I didn't see you pop on. Yeah, Lane had a really like Lane was military here. So, and she was married and had a husband here. So her life was a little more different. And she was here 6 years before she got divorced and moved back to Georgia. Hey, Cynthia. See, I told y'all Cynthia takes a couple naps here and there and pops back in with us. Cynthia, we was talking about how wonderful you are and how much you went through. Uh, you know, I was telling everybody how, you pulled through so much, the first diversity, coming through life, especially medically, and so many other things in your life that you're and still standing. A lot of people moving from and now I tell you what, these Texans, they don't like it because the price the real estate has skyrocketed. Prices in general for everything has skyrocketed. Because here's the thing: people moving from California, they're like 800,000 for that house. Oh, I'll pay it. And see, people in Texas is like, shut your mouth. We was paying 275,000 for that house before y'all decided to come here, right? So now the prices of real estate has skyrocketed, right? So Texas, the people in Texas are like, take your hoity-toity back to self back to California and leave our homes the way the price was, right? So prices where a $275,000 house now, people are paying 899,000 for it here. People don't like that. You get that. Well, you know what, Sandy, depending on the way you look at it, somebody's negativity to you could also be a positive in your life. And I say that to say we learn from every experience, regardless in your life of whether it's a negative or a positive experience, is something you're getting out of it to fulfill your lifespan. Everything has its purpose in your life that happens to you, around you, or you had knowledge of it. It's going to add to your life in one way or another. So even those negative things, we can count them as a positive because it's actually teaching us or putting us in a position to know or feel or do whatever it is that it's there for. So I learned to appreciate the negativity too. I learned to really appreciate, but again, that came with time, y'all, because that wasn't me before my son passed away, before my whole recreating my life again and opening my life to God the way I did. That no, the negativity was negative, and I was gonna fight you. I was gonna cuss you out to the ground, okay? And then if you need be, we was gonna have a fight, right? Because that's what happens when your heart is hard. So yeah, exactly. Yep. And so the thing is, the goods and the bads, if we take from it what we need to take from it, we file what we needed in our file cabinets on our mind, and we discard the rest. You don't need the fact that they called you names. You don't need the fact that they were belittling you. You just need from that situation what you needed from it, and you'll know it. And you put that in your file cabinet in your brain, so that way you can always reflect back on that as an experience. But you don't need all the trash that came along. Just like if you're going to go to McDonald's and you're going to get trash, but you're going to get food and you're going to eat it, you're going to throw away the wrappers and the container for the burger and the container for the fries. You don't have to take everything in every situation and hold it within you. You know what I mean? There's trash that comes with everything, and you can throw away that trash and just store what you need in you. And that's it. That's the experience. So many people take the whole experience and they hold on to it and they relive it over and over again, and then it becomes what it is and what you reflect every situation to. You don't need to do that. Get rid of the trash of it all. Take the meaning of what that trash brought you, store that. It's less storage you need, and you'll be able to take each experience and be like, okay, well, let me pull back because I know I was in that situation again. Let me see. You know what I mean? And then you can reflect back on that. And then you'll say, okay, well, I got through that. That is what it is. It's there for me to reflect back on and appreciate that time. However, I didn't need all the trash. I didn't need the fact that the girl came over and was calling me all kind of racial slurs or talking about my children or degrading me in some way. I didn't need none of that. All I needed was the purpose for the connection with her, so I can now reflect back on that, and that makes it a lot better. There you go. There you go. All the way around. Get rid of the trash that you don't need. You're not going to eat the rind for the most part, and you ain't going to eat the seeds. Just eat that watermelon and thank God you have it and reflect back on the watermelon when you need it, right? Oh, hey, Lisa, we was talking about you and when I was saying that raising kids here in North Texas, I was saying that Kathy and your son, Kathy is Lisa's son's wife, so it's Lisa's daughter-in-law. How they moved here, and it's going to be great for their kids. When I tell you, education wise, community wise, it's a great place to raise children. I promise you that, y'all. And I came here with no children, and I was invited into my community, even though I didn't have any children. They invited me to high school football. You could just be in the store, and somebody will walk up and say, the high school football game is going on tonight at 7. Are you coming? And I'm like, first of all, you're a stranger. See, I'm from Jersey, so this is me. First of all, you're a stranger. You're inviting me like I'm some kind of pervert wanting to be in some high school football game, right? Meanwhile, these people are just nice people and want to invite you into the community. And I thank God that I was looking at it that way. But I'll tell you what was going on in my mind is they must be some type of perverts. Why would I be at a high school football game? Because you're part of the community, you witch. That's what I want to say to myself. You little evil witch. They're trying to invite you. You know what I mean? So it's a really good community for that purpose. Very good community. Everybody is welcome to everything. And I love that part of it. Yep. Yes, indeed, Carol. Yes, indeed, Carol. And yes, you tell them, friend. Hey, Barbara. What's up, friend? $1,500 in California. I mean, 1,500 square feet in California. You could, child, that's out of my pay rate. Yeah, girl, eat the meat and spit out the bones. And I'm telling you, once you do that, you take your experiences in life totally different than you would have looking at it all. You just weed out everything you don't need in the situation. Anything that didn't make you feel good, you didn't need that. The experience of what you need was a learning experience or a feel good situation or something that God needed you to be there for. And you pull that out of it. And then all the other mess, anything that was negative or toxic that came out of that situation, just discard it. You don't need it. You don't even need to remember that. Let me see. Let me see, Eunice. Yeah, I'm telling you, it's a really nice place. It really is, Eunice. It really is. Have you visited your brother and his family in Wisconsin? Have you visited? Because if you visit, I'm telling you, people, if you visit Texas, you will like it. You will really want to stay. There you go. But you know how we are, Lane. We question everything somebody says. Somebody could be looking at you like this. Hi, how are you? How you doing today? And you'd be like, why are you speaking to me? But again, that has changed for me since I went through this whole transformation of being fine and just like, okay, God, you're there. I'm here. We're good. You look over me. Then my son is, murdered. And then all of a sudden, God was my enemy. And it took me, like I said, 3.5 years to get my life in order and understand that I needed to open up and really have a connection with God and figure this whole thing out. So then once I did that, I started seeing things in a totally different light. I really did. And again, like I said, when I felt like, oh, okay. All right, Eunice. Yeah, and the thing is, when you're comfortable where you're at, that's because it's where you're supposed to be. But in my case, I was comfortable where I was at because it was what I knew. And I actually told somebody this. I've told a few people this, but all the years that I lived in New Jersey, I could not imagine leaving. I felt like I was in a prison, but the gates to the prison was always open. And I just never even darted the gates because I couldn't imagine them being open. So I just didn't even think about the gates being open. So the moment I drove out the gates to move to Texas and actually move here, I realized I wasn't never stuck there. But I felt like that was my only option for years in my life, almost 50 years, So getting out showed me But if you would have asked me prior to me moving here, I would have been like, I'm not leaving New Jersey. This is my home. I know everybody here. I'm comfortable here. This is where my life is, you know? But once I did it, I felt like I escaped those gates. And you really don't know it until you leave, the difference and the, what other avenues there are and what other options you have. Um, but I say as long as you're comfortable and nothing is like tapping you on the shoulder to run, I just say, you're where you're at because that's where you're supposed to be. As long as it's not in fear, out of, you stand in a place because of fear, I think then you're fine. You stay where you're supposed to be. Good night, Kathy. Thanks for joining. Yeah, I know, Lane, right? Certain places you're like, it feels good to just have that comfort level. But then once you leave, you're like, okay, but this wasn't scary anyway. And see, Lane did this early in life, y'all. I couldn't imagine when she left. I was like, what? But then she had family. She went, where family was. So I was like, okay, well, I'm not too nervous for her. But I was actually nervous. She's like leaving, but she went with family. So me, I came over here with nothing, nobody, not Nathan, but God. That was it. Me and God. And my picture of my son on the passenger seat of my car while we were driving. That was it. Me, God, and my son was in that car, and I drove from New Jersey to Texas, and I was scared to death because I had never been no further than Virginia or New York and Pennsylvania and Delaware. I ain't go nowhere far. I didn't drive far. I did not go nowhere. Like get in my car and just set out to drive. No, that wasn't me. I did not do that. And when I got in the car to do that, everybody was shocked. But at that time, I felt so strong that God had my back and that we were good. I was like, I just felt comfortable doing. My granddaughter cried. My brother even cried the night I was leaving. We went out to dinner the night before. My sister, my brother, and my daughter and my granddaughter. We was out having dinner. And when we were getting ready to leave the restaurant, I hugged everybody and my brother cried. And he was like, I hope you're okay. I'm just scared for you. I'm like, don't be scared. I'm good. Yep. Oh, overseas. Okay. All right. Yep, definitely. See, opening yourself up and just really once you're in touch with what you really, and you open yourself up, what's meant to be is going to fall into Mike. Mike Lane. Yep. Mike was like, oh my God, I can't believe because I hadn't told anybody. So they only had, and I think maybe even Mike only had like a 2-week notice that I was leaving. I was doing all this behind the scenes. So, and he was like, are you sure? He came to my house and he was like, are you really sure that this is what I said? Yeah, this is what I'm doing. This is how I'm doing it. So, yep. And, because Mark was out doing Mark's thing. So Mark didn't even know I was leaving. When I moved here, June 2014, Mark passed away December 2015. Yeah, 2015, Mark passed away. Yeah. It's only hot. I mean, here's the thing. You don't do a lot. If you're not a walker, if you're not somebody who walks in these long blocks, you ain't walking nowhere around here. Right. But here it's hot. Yes, it does get hot. You get used to it very fast. You get used to it. The first summer I was here, it was very hot. And I moved here in June. So it was hot. But I didn't really do much. If you put it this way, you get in your car in the morning, you drive to your job, right? Or whatever, right? You're at work all day, you drive home. You might stop at a store. You may, you got air conditioning in the car, you're air conditioned at work, and you're air conditioned at home. And then you say you're going to go to a store or something, the mall. The mall is air conditioned. And then when you come home, if you sit outside on your porch, you have it situated where you have shade or something. If you sit out in the back or whatever. So it's not, it's hot, but it's not going to be anything that's that uncomfortable. It's no different. You have hotter summers than up north, but your body turns just like my body with cold now. I can't take cold. I'm not cracking my door because it's so cold outside. I don't like it. You would think that I grew up in the South because of the way that my body does not connect with cold. But that comes from being here for so many years. You start to get used to the weather. So the hot doesn't bother me. The summers and the extended summers doesn't bother me anymore. Yeah, you get accustomed to it. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Because Tammy, you lived here all your life, didn't you? Faith Family Fashion. It can get humid here, but it's not all the time. It can get humid, but for the most part, it's hot, but then there's this breeze that blows along that is almost like a blessing of air conditioning that hits you. It might knock you down a couple degrees. And but again, during that time of day when it's that hot, you're not going to be out exercising. You ain't going to be out for a run. You're not going to be doing none of that during the day. Like you have your time early in the before noon that you could get out and you can do some exercise outside, or either, as the sun's going down, say like 7:30, 8 o'clock, it cools down a little bit and you can, I've seen it midnight and be like 99 degrees outside here in the summer, in the dead of summer. Yeah, midnight. But, again, gyms are on every corner. You can go to the gym. Okay, you always did. I thought you did grow up here, Tammy. Yeah, it's a different type of cold. It's a totally different type. And like I said, the difference is, like I said, yesterday we were 75 degrees here in my area where we live at, North Texas. Today, it didn't even get past, it was like, what, 33 degrees all day or something? I don't even know how far. When I looked at the temperature, it was 33 degrees. So I say that to say that's a big drop. So it's a difference in your bone chill. And up north, y'all are in winter now, and you stand in winter. And the highest you may get is a blessing is like 50 degrees, 48 degrees, but it's still cold, so your body doesn't. So when you do drop in the 30s or the 20s, it doesn't hurt as much as from 75 down to 30. So that's the difference too. Good night, Meditra. Good night, Tina. Have a nice night. I know I'm getting ready to get off here. We've been on 2 hours and 20 minutes. 21 minutes. I'm getting ready to get off here. Y'all know when I get to talking. No, it's no ice storm coming here. It's just a chilly couple days, and then we're back to the 70s this week. It ain't no big thing. I think one day this week or 2 days this week we'll be back in the 70s, and then it warms up. And then I think over the weekend, next weekend, we get a little chill again. But that's how it is here. So wait. Yeah, tomorrow we'll be up to 56, and then or 50, 54, and then Monday 62, Tuesday 71. You see? So it ain't like the cold is every day here. So when it does hit, it hurts. It really hurts. Then 61, and then Thursday and Friday and Saturday we'll be in the 40s. Then back up in the 50s again, So we get a couple cold days here, and then it warms back up again. Ain't no big thing. Good night, Yvonne. I know I'm getting ready to get off, y'all. I'm getting off of here, but I appreciate you guys. The Facebook group is Feel Free to Be Creative. Just send in a request. I'm going to go on there and check if anybody sent it to see if anybody requested. But Martha normally snatches up everybody. But I'll go on tonight before I go to bed and make sure I accept everybody in if anybody came on. Feel free to be creative. It has the picture is like a yellow hello sign. Go on there and just post whatever you're feel free to post whatever you want to post. If you feel like just posting a quote because you're feeling something, post a quote. And it's a lot of communication on there. And if you're new, just say, hey, I'm new to the group. I was on the live, Thank you so much, Sugar Honey. All right, y'all. I'm hanging up on y'all. I will call y'all back probably Tuesday. I might call y'all back Tuesday for a live. But tomorrow I probably will be putting up a video. Whether it's going to be the tour or whether I'm debating, because I want to do this recipe with y'all too. So I don't know. It'll be a vlog probably tomorrow, one way or the other. Oh yeah, y'all can have that, Claire. You can have that one. All right, y'all. I'm hanging up. I will chit chat with y'all. I'll probably call y'all back Tuesday evening ish. and we'll chit chat a little bit. And then, we do have the Saturday night 7:30. I don't have a movie tonight, y'all. So next week probably won't be a movie discussion. It'll just be a discussion. Then we'll come up with a movie through the week. All right, y'all. I'm going to get back with y'all. I will chit chat with you guys on Tuesday evening. All right, y'all.